We are shaped by our thoughts, we become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Once upon a time, there was a noble king who was filled with pain and resentment because his son, who was once a prince intended for the throne, had given up worldly riches to become a wandering monk. Years went by after the prince left his palace, family, and wealth, and went into the woods to find answers to life's problems. He had come back, but not as the prince his father once knew. He had come back as a monk, that having discovered a path free from suffering. When the king saw his son dressed like a beggar, his heart filled with anger and disappointment. He was ashamed, his hopes were shattered, and he lost his family name. "You have squandered your duties, embarrassed our name, and for what?" he said. "And for what?" he asked, "to wander around aimlessly with beggars and sages." The monk, the personification of peace, responds with his angry father in a calm way. "Father, I left to seek the truth, not to abandon you. I have found a path to freedom from suffering, the root of all our afflictions. How can you justify abandoning your responsibilities, your kingdom, your family?" the king asked, the echoes of his agony resonating in the grand hall. The monk calmly responded, "I haven't abandoned anything, Father. Rather, I've embraced everything. I've learned that true peace and joy spring from within, not from a title, wealth, or power. It's this realization, this inner peace, and pursuit of truth that shapes us." The king was confused and interested by how wise his son was, so he started to question what he knew about life. Over time, he could see a change in himself. He felt a growing sense of peace, a slow easing of his anger, and a peace that surrounded him. As the king followed his son down this new path, he came to understand how big the monk's sacrifice was, and how wise he was. The crown seemed lighter, the throne less intimidating, and his heart was at peace for the first time in a long time. He wasn't just a king anymore, he was also a follower of the path his son had shown. In the end, the monk's search for truth and inner peace not only changed him, but also changed his father. His quest wasn't one of abandonment but of absolute acceptance and unconditional love. So, the king, who had been lost in his world of power and fame, found his true happiness and peace. Indeed, the Buddha and his father became living testimonies to the words, "We are shaped by our thoughts, we become what we think." When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. In the modern world, we often get caught up in trying to get approval from others, and make money, and we forget the eternal truths of inner peace and self-realization. We need to remember, like the monk, to look for wisdom, not wealth, and like his father, to see and accept the change that comes from this. By doing this, we can also find happiness, because our thoughts shape us, our search for truth guides us, and our inner peace is what really defines us. We all have the ability to change in such a deep way, just like the monk and his father did. And just like them, joy can become our constant shadow as we keep looking for inner peace. Remember that, we are shaped by our thoughts, we become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves.